Actually, all three of the lifts, there's going to be 3 referees. You have one on each side and one in the front. The front referee is going to give you commands that you have to follow during the lift. For the squat, the commands are squat and rack. So how it's going to work is, the spotters and loaders will be loading the bar as you're chalking your hands or whatever, and the head referee will say bars loaded. At that point, you have 1 minute to unrack the weight and get set up and wait for the referee to say squat. So once the bar is loaded, you basically just walk up, unrack it on your own, get set up, and once you are locked out, knees, chest, everything's locked, the referee will say squat. At that point, a lot of people, like when they first meet, as soon as they say squat, they go. Once you get the squat command, it's on your own time. So you can get your breath, get tight, and then go ahead and do the squat. And then once you come back up, we'll demonstrate what you have to do, but once you come back up, you just have to wait until they say rack. So what the referees are looking for in the squat, are you my squatter? Did you squat? Okay. So we'll go ahead and do it in real time, basically. So the bar's loaded, so at this point she can unrack it on her own, get set up, everything's locked, and the referee will say squat.
Squat!
And what the side referees are looking for in the front is for the crease of the hip to go below the top of the knee. So you're actually looking at right here compared to right here. And then you come back up.
Stay down there.
Once you're locked out at the top, the referee says rack. And then there's going to be lights. I don't know if you've seen a meet on YouTube or anything. There's each referee has a paddle for lights. They'll be in a box somewhere. You got to get 2 out of 3 white lights for it to be a good lift. It's either a red light or a white light or a red light. So majority rules, 2 or 3 white lights, it's a good lift.
They don't tell you when to come up. You can.
No,
No, they don't tell you to come up.
You can have a coach say up, but the referees, nobody actually tells you anything.
Okay.
So typically you want to practice, just have somebody watch you and practice doing it in one motion, because you really don't want to be here waiting for somebody to say up. I mean, that wastes a lot.
I just waited for.
I find that to be one of the biggest rookie mistakes is when people will stop and pause at the bottom. So
Yeah.
It's just one fluid motion,
You don't
just
have
a
to
normal
wait
squat.
for anybody.
Correct. So once
There will be
once
someone who's not here today that will do that.
yeah. So once you get the squat command, you can get your breath, start on your own. It's just down and up, and then
Right,
you just
just
hold it at the
regular.
top.
You would do regular.
Yeah, I was kind of telling him. So
We're doing full speed.
Yeah.
Bars loaded.
Down there.
Big weight. Come on, baby.
Let's do this. Got it.
Yep. Tight. Squat. Hit. Right.
that's what it would look like in full speed. Alright, so I don't want to get into every little detail, but just a few of the things that you need to make sure you do is one, once you get the start command, you can't take a step until they say rack. So if they say start and then you adjust your feet a little bit, that's a disqualification already. So make sure that you're getting set up and everything, and then typically, as a referee, usually if they make eye contact with you, that's kind of a signal like, okay, I'm ready. So, you know, if you're setting up, once you look at the referee and you just kind of get you set, they'll say squat. They typically don't jump the gun on that. I had it happen to one person one time. They set up, they said squat, and then they just kind of moved their feet a little bit. It was just
And that counts as one of your...
and that would be your attempt. It'd be a no lift.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's one. It's really, these things really aren't that big of a deal if you're really just kind of paying attention to what you're doing. Once you get the squat command and you go down, you can't double bounce, I guess. So if you're coming down, you kind of go like this. That's a no lift. It has to be one motion down, one motion up. So that applies coming up too. If you start up and then you go down and back up, that would be a no lift. Those are the main ones. I mean, without getting into too much detail.
Yeah, I see people rushing the rack a lot. They come up from that, and then they their brain just leaves.
That's an easy way. That's an easy way to throw away a PR. Is take a
or
step.
state record like Dan did.
Yeah.
That's like they said. That's three main things that we see people on is like when you get up there. If I'm in the chair, don't make eye contact with me until you're ready. Make sure your head's down when you get up there. You get locked up. Then you look at me and I'm gonna tell you to squat. no position changing. Then the next bad thing is they'll get down and they'll come up and they'll try to do a double bounce in the bottom like Joshua called. And then when you stand up, you're so proud that you got that weight, you're getting that stuff off your back that you just want to walk in. So just wait on all your commands. That's one of the major factors. People, you got 2 commands, wait on them. Wait on them.
If your coach or somebody's there, can they remind you not to rack it?
Yeah.
Oh,
As you're training, what I do with a lot of my new clients is, I always tell people to count 1001, 1002 before you start, and 1001, 1002 before you rack it.
Okay.
Whether you're training on your own or not, just so if you do forget the commands, you're in the habit of waiting.
Okay.
It's an easy way to kind of just start practicing that now.
Right.
Yeah, just remember in the squat and the bench, when you're done with the lift, the spotters are going to help you walk that weight back in, or the bench, they're going to pull the weight back into the rack. So when you're done with the lift, just stop. You don't even have to worry about doing anything else. You don't have to worry about listening to command. When you're done squatting, just stay there because the spotters are going to move that weight in. Okay? And when you're done, just stay there and wait. That's all you got to do.
Do you have to actually walk it in, or can you just kind of like collapse?
I would
The spotters are going to take that weight. You're just going to be with it. Unless you want to go to the bar, which is probably not a good idea. No, not a good idea.
One thing Dave just mentioned it's really important is if you do get stuck or miss a lift, stay with the bar.
Yeah, don't ever let go.
Yeah. As CrossFitters, we bail out of things a lot.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, never bail on the lift because you have spotters right here that are ready to help you, and if you dump it on them, which I've had it happen to me before, it makes for a bad day. And typically, the technical rule is if you dump it, you're supposed to be disqualified on the spot. But that's kind of why in the rules meeting we're going to remind you of that. So if you do dump it, you probably will be disqualified on the spot.
And then another thing, don't get offended because the back spotter, if you start having a problem, he's coming in.
He's going to be right
Oh,
there.
sorry.
If he pops you in the eye.
Right there. I mean,
Do you need to ask for help, or will they?
no, oh, he's going to help you.
They're
And
there.
most times, the
They're
head
right there.
referee, if he see you struggling, he's going to say, take it.
Okay.
That's when they're going to come in. Don't get offended because your hand's going to be everywhere.
There's a really great picture of Priscilla Ribic with her back spotter's hands like.
And they're supposed to be up here on the shoulders, yeah.
But I mean,
You want
He was
that.
panicked.
You want them to get the weight.
You do, yeah.
so it's not that. It's just,
The only thing you got to worry about is you work on the lift. If you get stuck, you don't have to tell somebody to take it. They'll take it when it's